All right, hello everybody. Welcome back. I hope you're all doing well. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out as always. So in this video, I wanted to revisit the budget build for Vynnset. Lots of new players joining the game every day. Our local community is growing. I hope the same is happening in your local community. Game's super healthy right now. I'm seeing a lot of comments. Thanks, by the way, as always, for interacting and watching and supporting. But lots of comments from new players who are looking for a lower barrier of entry to try Vynnset out. She's a super fun hero, and the budget list that I put together, I haven't revisited in a long time. So we've gotten some amazing pieces from Rosetta that aren't too expensive that we can add. So I decided to update my budget list, keep it under $100. So this is my sub $100 budget Vynnset list that we're going to take a look at here today. So here it is. All of the equipment pieces are sort of at common or rare. I guess the one exception is Vexing Quillhand at Majestic, but this is still a relatively inexpensive piece, sub $10. In fact, I believe every single card in this list is under $10. I think the most expensive card may be in the $6 to $7 range. So this is a sub $100 list. Aether Ironweave is a great piece. Honestly, allows us to gain 2 resources. And this list is a little bit more on the, like, I need to pay for stuff, potentially. So Aether Ironweave, a great piece. It also Battle Worn blocks for 1, so it's 1 extra health. Same for Bloodied Oval. This is 1 health as long as you're at a lower life total than your opponent. So this is in the list, as well as Grimoire. We'll take a look at the inventory in a little bit. Ebonfold as a default headpiece. So this is great into Wizard. This is in my regular list. It's not the main piece that we use on our heads. But that said, you could look at picking up Arcanite Skullcap, which is quite a budget piece these days. So as a slight upgrade, and that can afford you a little more block. So Arcanite Skullcap is another. I'm trying to keep it flavorful, to keep it in the family sort of thing with this choice in Ebonfold. Its ability can be relevant as well. We can pay 1 to destroy this, banish a card from our hand to draw a card. It has to be, if it's a shadow card, we get the draw. But this list plays a lot of shadow cards as well, so it's sort of a filtering ability. Spell Void 2 into Wizard. So this piece does have a lot of utility. But if you're more concerned with block, then Arcanite Skullcap, if you don't have it already, could be a budget pickup at this point as well. Flail of Agony, our main weapon. This synergizes really well with a lot of our RuneGate cards, which have that on-hurt ability. So if we're able to follow them up with a flail, we take damage, which turns them online, or it allows us to get extra value. Sutcliffe's Wade Hides is taking the place of Spellbound Creepers, which is the expensive legendary piece. And Spellbound Creepers is quite impactful as a piece. However, Sutcliffe's Wade Hides can, for 1, as an attack reaction, give target attack action card go again. We can only activate it if we played a non-attack action card, but like most Rune Blades, we are at about a 50-50 split, so it's easy enough to be able to fulfill this requirement, but this can allow us to go wide, similar to what Creepers can do. However, it does bear a cost. So all the more reason for pieces like Aether Ironweave that, you know, we do need to close the chain, and again, this needs we need to have played a non-attack action card and an attack action card in order to gain these resources. But you know, if we're able to go 3 wide, this can be where we get some of those resources, or even if we're trying to go 2 wide, these resources can come in handy on our second swing. So Sutcliffe's Wade Hides, a cheap way of generating extra action points and going a little bit wider. Vexing Quillhand, awesome pickup. You know, it's at Majestic from Everfest. It is not that expensive, and it's a really key piece. This is a main hand slot in the expensive build as well. So Vexing Quillhand is an all-star here. It allows us to destroy this and make 2 Runechants, sort of as a break in case of emergency style piece that allows us to just up the consistency of the deck as well as go wide when we need to. So in terms of main board, honestly, there's not that much difference between this budget build and my build, which I think, like my all-out no budget build, not that much difference, which I think speaks to the deck, like this will give you a flavor or an idea of how Vynnset plays. I will highlight some of the differences and maybe some of the upgrades that you could look to include, but honestly, you can compare this to my full budget list. But yeah, you are going to get the idea of how Vynnset wants to play. There are just certain intricacies and certain lines, which honestly, as a new player, may be good to start with something like this that is a little more straightforward, because Creepers adds a great deal of complexity to the potential lines and the potential output that Vynnset has. So this type of list is going to give you the right idea, and it's still capable of some awesome shenanigans. So anyway, so we have 3 of Beseech the Demagon in the main board. This is a shadow non-attack action card that activates Vynnset's second ability. So if we aren't familiar with what Vynnset does, worthwhile taking a look. So at the start of our turn, we have to banish a card from hand. The hope is that this is a Blood Debt Rune Gate card that we are able to play from banish. So we're not really losing that value. We're banking it for later. So at the beginning of our turn, we have to banish a card from hand. And then whenever we play a shadow non-attack action card, we can choose to lose a life. And if we do, it makes our first Runechant effect, which is that arcane damage that, procs after we swing. It becomes unpreventable. So we can push unpreventable damage, which again synergizes really well with that Rune Gate mechanic. So let's take a look at Deathly Delight really quickly. This is something that we could hold in our hand and banish at the beginning of our turn to make a Runechant. I forgot to mention that. The benefit to banishing a card from hand is that it makes us a Runechant. So Deathly Delight is an example of a Rune Gate card where we can play it for free from banish as long as we control Runechants equal to or greater than this card's cost. So 2. So as long as we have 2 or more Runechants, we can play this card out for free. So Vynnset's ability is not a downside, it's a privilege. We get to banish things, make Runechants, play them out for free, cheat them in. So Beseech the Demagon, I went off on a little bit of a tangent there, but I realized we didn't really cover what Vynnset did. So Beseech the Demagon is one of those shadow non-attack action cards that allows Vynnset's second ability to come online, allows us to push unpreventable damage. It also buffs our next attack +3, so allows it to become really big. So for example, if we did something like we had 2 Runechants, let's say, and a Deathly Delight in banish, maybe we banish it at the beginning of our turn, we can Beseech the Demagon, trigger Vynnset's second ability, or Vynnset's second ability triggers automatically. We choose to take the damage, make our first Runechant unpreventable. This buffs +3. We target. So it says choose an attack action card in your banish zone. It gets +3 until end of turn. So we would target Deathly Delight. That is in our banish zone. Turn it into an 8 attack instead of a 5 attack. Our first Runechant is going to be unpreventable. So now we've taken damage by activating Vynnset's second ability. They're going to take damage because our first Runechant is going to be unpreventable. So that when we close the combat chain, all of these Rune Gate cards, or most of these Rune Gate cards, come with these on hurt abilities that check how many heroes have lost life that turn and gives us some benefit. So this one, for example, when the combat chain closes, so when we choose to close the chain, we gain life equal to the number of heroes who have lost life this turn. So if we've activated Vynnset's ability by taking a damage, we push Unpreventable Arcane, forcing our opponent to take damage. Now we're going to gain 2 life because 2 heroes, ourselves and our opponent, have lost life this turn. So that would allow us to gain 2 life. Deathly Wail is another classic Rune Gate card that makes us Runechants equal to the number of heroes who have lost life this turn. So again, if we are able to activate Vynnset's second ability, take a damage, push an unpreventable Runechant, force our opponent to take a damage, we're going to get 2 Runechants when we close the chain on Deathly Wail. This one costs 3, so it's a little bit more challenging to get out for free. From Banish, we need to have 3 or more Runechants, but this is a staple piece. So we're running all 9 Deathly Wails on red, yellow, as well as blue. So let's take a step back. So you'll notice a lot, like this deck is built around this Rune Gate mechanic. And so you're going to find lots of these Rune Gate cards. Another card that we can cheat in or play from Banish is Bounding Demagon. So we're on 3 in this budget list. And this we can only play as long as we've played a non-attack action card this turn. If we have, we can play this from our banish zone, and if we do, it gains +1. So this is a 0 for 4. 0 for 4 damage, +1 on the 3. That we can play from banish as long as we've played a non-attack action card. So this is a nice like chain ender. If we play something that enables go again, play a rune gate card, we can end the chain on this Bounding Demagon. And we just need a critical mass of these cards that we're happy to banish, because every turn, we're at the beginning of our turn, we're going to banish a card from hand. So Bounding Demagon is a good target for that banish as well. Deadwood Dirge. Now we're getting into the lovely stuff, the lovely support we got from Rosetta. Deadwood Dirge is such a key piece. It's just a 3 of in every Vynnset list. It says, destroy an aura you control. If you do, create 3 Runechant tokens. So the aura that we're gonna that we control, that we're gonna break, is probably a Runechant. So the most likely sort of like series of events is we banish a card from hand. So let's say our hand is Deathly Wail and Deadwood Dirge. That's it. We've blocked with the other 2 cards. All we have at the beginning of our turn is a Deathly Wail and a Deadwood Dirge. We banish, so at the beginning of our turn, Vynnset's first ability triggers. We banish the Deathly Wail from our hand. We make 1 Runechant from Vynnset's ability. Runechants are auras, token auras. So now we play the Deadwood Dirge to essentially turn that 1 Runechant into 3 Runechants. So now it says, destroy aura you control. That's the Runechant we controlled from Vynnset's ability. If you do, we get 3 Runechants. So now instead of 1 Runechant, we have 3 Runechants, which allows us to play the Deathly Wail out for free, essentially. So using the Rune Gate mechanic, we control Runechants 3, equal to or greater than this casting cost. We get to play that out for free. It's going to come in for 3 and 6. So that's a 2-card 9, right? So all we need is Deadwood Dirge and Wail in hand at the beginning of our turn. We don't need any other setup. Banish the Wail, make a Runechant from Vynnset. Target the Runechant to turn it into 3 with Deadwood Dirge. Come in for 3 and 9. So 2-card 9 is very, very good. And on top of that, your opponent, we're interacting with your opponent because they have to choose. They have to give you 3 cards if they don't want you to make a Runechant. Otherwise, if they take any of the arcane or any of the physical, you're going to make a Runechant when you close the chain from Deathly Wail's on hurt ability. Okay? So Deadwood Dirge, such an all-star card. The ceiling on this card is you target an aura, one of those downside auras that your opponent gives you. So like you're playing against an Azuri, or you're playing against an Azalea, or you're playing against a new, and they make a Bloodrot Pox token, or they give you a Bloodrot Pox token. That's going to deal you 2 damage at the end of your turn. Well, you can turn that Bloodrot Pox token, because it is an aura, or a Frailty token, or Inertia token. You can turn those tokens into 3 Runechants as well from Deadwood Dirge. So that's like the ceiling on this card. The floor is still quite good, though, turning our 1 Runechant into 3. So beyond that, we have another amazing piece from Rosetta that kind of round this deck out, is Malefic Incantation. We're running 6 of Malefic Incantation in this list, on red and on yellow. The red comes in with 3 counters, and the yellow comes in with 2 counters. Those are the only 2 differences, these verse counters. And what this reads is, once per turn, when you play an attack action card, remove a verse counter from this. If you do, create a Runechant token. So we want to get these out on the board. We start swinging, and our first swing every turn is going to make us a Runechant for every Malefic Incantation we have out. Okay, so that allows us to either end the turn on Runechants or keep going. So if we have 2 Malefic Incantations in play, we swing. We're going to get 2 Runechants after that attack, or that attack is essentially going to generate us 2 Runechants thanks to Malefic. If we have a 2-cost Rune Gate card that we're able to follow it up with, all the better, right? So it can sort of extend our turn at best. At worst, it allows us to end on Runechants, which is very, very important in this list as well. Shadow Puppetry is an older card from Monarch. It's also sort of a staple card. It's one of the more expensive pieces in the list, maybe $4 or $5 a piece. However, it's sort of a must-have. It's a shadow non-attack action card, so it interacts with Vynnset's second ability very, very well. And it reads, the next attack action card you play this turn gains +1. Doesn't need to be a rune blade attack. It can be whatever attack. So the next attack action card you play gets +1. Go again. And on hit, look at the top card of your deck. You can choose to banish it. So this does everything we want it to do. +1 is nice. Go again is awesome. So that can give your first rune blade attack go again. Maybe if we have a couple malefics, we can follow it up with a second rune gate card. Or we can find another rune gate card off the top of our deck. So if they let your attack hit, we get to look at the top of our deck. If that's a rune gate card or something we can play from banish, we get to put it in our banish zone and get free value from it, essentially. So on hit is relevant, the +1 is nice, and the go again is very nice as well. And just a bonus that it's a shadow non-attack, that again interacts with Vynnset's second ability. Now we have a string of rune gate cards. So we have Phantom Banshee, which is the 3/7 vanilla. There's no on hurt ability. All it does is come in for 7, but that's still pretty good when we can cheat it in, as long as we've had 3 Runechants. So once again, a 2-card 10 is Deadwood Dirge, Phantom Banshee. We can, again, block with the other 2 cards, banish Phantom Banshee, make a Runechant from Vynnset's ability, target that Runechant with Deadwood Dirge. Now we're at 3, and we can come in for 3 and 7. Phantom Wraith is very, very similar, vanilla, 2/6. So again, we just get to cheat it out as long as we have 2 or more Runechants, and it comes in for 6. Widespread Rune is exactly the same. It's a 2/6 rune gate card. But this one does have one of those on hurt abilities. When the combat chain closes, each hero who has lost life this turn banishes the top card of their deck. This can be somewhat helpful for us if we're trying to get extra cards in banish that we can then like go 2 or sometimes 3 wide with, especially if we have like Malefic Incantations or Malefic Incantation Deadwood Dirge. So even if we only have 1 Malefic Incantation out, we swing. This produces us a Runechant. We can then target that Runechant to turn it into 3 once again with Deadwood Dirge, which might be what we need in order to facilitate coming in with a second Runegate card that turn. We're also on yellow Mavrian Skies in the main board. So as you've noticed, we have a lot of 2-cost Runegate cards. We also have a lot of 3-cost Runegate cards. So honestly, this yellow Mavrian Skies could, like we have blue Mavrian Skies in the sideboard. You could swap them back and forth. I like the yellow Mavrian Skies in main board because, so what Mavrian Skies says is the next Rune Blade attack action card you play this turn gains go again. And if it hits, create a number of Runechants. 1 Runechant on blue, 2 Runechants on yellow, and 3 Runechants on red. So if you want to be really greedy, you could put the red Mavrian Skies in this list. So you could find room for the red Mavrian Skies, which makes 3 Runechants on hit. But I like yellow because it threatens 2 Runechants on hit, which again activates a lot of our Runegate cards. So Phantom Wraith, Widespread Ruin, or Deathly Delight. We do have a number of 3 costs, so Deathly Wail, Phantom Banshee. So, you know, making 3 Runechants is quite nice as well. But threatening 2 Runechants on hit is good enough. The yellow is also nice because we can pitch it to play one of these 2-cost Runegate cards, or, spoiler alert, we can pitch it to play something like Pummel. So we'll get to Pummel in a second. Well, actually, while we're on the subject of Mavrian Skies, so this threatens an on-hit that your opponent can't really ignore. On-hit, create 2 Runechants is not really an option. So this often just reads like, give me your cards, because your opponent really doesn't want you to get that value, especially because those Runechants represent resources, essentially, that allow us to play things for free. So they're going to have to respect this. One way we can force the on-hit is with something like Pummel. So we do need a few extra blues in this budget list because we want to be able to pay for things like Pummel. And because sometimes we might just have to pitch the blues to be able to play something without, like if we don't have enough Runechants to Runegate something out. So Pummel, all of our attacks except for Bounding Demagon, so Deathly Delight, all of our Runegate attacks are at least 2 or 3 cost, if not 4 costs on Widespread Ruin. So Pummel targets all of them except for Bounding. That's the only one. So it says target attack action card with cost 2 or greater. All of our Runegate cards gains +2. And if this hits the defending hero, discards a card. So that on hit is very, very punishing. It forces our opponent to discard a card. So they're 1 card down. If we pummel an attack that has this Mavskai's ability on it, then on hit, they're not only going to discard a card, but we're going to create 2 Runechant tokens, which might allow us to go wider. So pummel can really, like, Mavrian Sky's pummel is a dream, and they need to respect that if they know you're running pummel. So pummel's a super, super fun piece in Vynnset. It tends to get cut in the, like, bigger budget lists in the favor of sort of, like, consistency, but pummel is super, super fun. So yeah, this is a key piece in the budget list for sure. So to finish off our main board, we have 51 cards in main board, by the way. We're going to side in 9 to round it out to 60. But the last couple pieces in our main board is Widespread Destruction, a 3-cost Runegate card that threatens Arsenal. So when the combat chain closes, each hero who's lost life this turn banishes a card from their arsenal. Be careful if you have a card in arsenal, like a pummel, make sure you play it out before you close the chain, because otherwise you're going to lose them too. So this Widespread Destruction is symmetrical. It's going to target both heroes if you've both lost life. Widespread Annihilation is similar. It's a 4-cost. It's our only 4-cost Runegate card, so it's a little bit tougher to get out, to play out, to cheat out. But when you can play it out, it has a very, very punishing on-hurt ability. So when the combat chain closes, by the way, you're probably noticing this, all of these on-hurt abilities trigger when you close the combat chain. So after the damage is resolved, and when you choose to close the combat chain. This one reads, each hero who's lost life this turn banish the card from their hand. So arguably the most punishing for your opponent. Okay, so let's take a look at the inventory now. So again, you're running a 51 card main board. We're going to be looking for 9 cards from our inventory, our sideboard, to round it out to a 60. So the way I look at this, I kind of have like an aggro package and I kind of have a defensive package. And this is true for any Vynnset list, like my Vynnset lists, the no budget or like, you know, full budget Vynnset lists also kind of operate on this axis. So this is good practice where depending on the matchup, you're either kind of leaning defensive, and the defensive build is kind of like, I'm happy to give you cards from my hand. I'm playing all of these D-reacts as well. So I'm giving you a bunch of cards, and then I'm just going to get value from my one like cheat. So I'm going to banish something and come in with like one thing. Or you can side in some aggro pieces to try and kind of go wide or set up these big turns against like a control deck to kind of just push over the top of their defenses. So my aggro package is Envelop in Darkness. When we're running Pummel, I really like Envelop in Darkness because a blue card can pay for both Envelop in Darkness, Floating 2, and Pummel. So we get full, like the maximum value is we get 4 value on Envelop in Darkness, 1 Runechant plus 3 on your next Runegate card, and then another 4 value on Pummel, which pumps for 4 at red, and we're getting more value from them discarding it. So that's like crazy value. So if we can pitch a blue to play Envelop in Darkness, which might make the Runechant we need to be able to cheat something out with the Runegate mechanic, this also gives our next attack action card that we Runegate plus 3. So it pumps plus 3, makes us a Runechant. Then with the 2 floating, we can come in with Pummel. So we have 2 red Pummel in the inventory, which buff plus 4 instead of plus 2 on blue. Again, the idea is we can threaten a on-hit with Mavrian Skies, yellow Mavrian Skies. And again, you can make room for red if you're really into that game plan. I do have blue Mavrian Skies in the inventory. So if I'm siding in if I'm leaning more aggro, I'm siding in the envelops and the pummels. I do need some extra blues to support that game plan. And what better blue than Mavrian Skies, which again threatens an on-hit of 1 Runechant. So this synergizes well with Pummel for multiple different reasons. It's blue, so we can pitch to pay for it, but also if we don't have to pitch it, it threatens a Runechant on hit. So if I'm trying to lean aggro, I'm going to side in the Envelop in Darkness, the Pummel, and the Mavrian Skies, and maybe the Oblivion as an extra blue. And this one has the added benefit of into control. If we're setting up, we try and build as many Runechants as possible. This will make us a nice friendly demon friend that swings for 6 every turn. That is really, really nice, especially with these go again enablers. So Aggro package is probably Envelop in Darkness, Pummel, Mavrian Skies, Oblivion. Read the Runes is here as well. The value of this card increases when we are going first. This on turn 0 is amazing. Just creates us 3 Runechant tokens as a 0 cost, but it doesn't have go again. So on turn 0, or we can end the chain on it, right? So if we go like Mavrian Skies, give something go again, Runegate something, and then we don't really care to swing Flail, or we don't have enough Runechants to follow it up with one of these other Runegate cards, we can just follow it up with Read the Runes and end on 3 Runechants. However, one way to give Read the Runes go again is with Grimoire, which is in the sideboard. So this has AB1, Arcane Barrier 1, which is relevant into Wizard. So you're siding this into Wizard, but the other thing is this instant ability, pay 1 to banish it and create an Eloquence token. Eloquence token, here it is, reads, when you play a non-attack action card, destroy this and give it go again. So Eloquence can give Read the Runes go again. And another card that is not in this list that probably should be in this list is Eloquent Eulogy. It might be a little more expensive, which is likely why it's not in this list, but it's like if you're really interested in picking up Vynnset, it's probably worthwhile to pick those Eloquent Eulogies up. It is a majestic, and it was an expansion slot card, so it's likely a little bit more expensive, but again, it's worthwhile to pick up for sure. So Eloquent Eulogy is another one that it is a 1-cost Runegate card. It's a 1 for 4 that if your opponent chooses to take damage, when you close the chain, you make Eloquence. So Eloquence in this build honestly is not super relevant because we're not playing pieces like Funeral Moon or Cull. Those are other pieces that, once again, are a little more expensive, but those are sort of like key upgrade pieces. If you are really enjoying Vynnset, wanting to take it to the next level, those are some of my first targets, at least beyond the equipment, that I would look to upgrade. So if we're running Cull and Funeral Moon, those Eloquence tokens become more valuable. So Eloquent Eulogy, a 1 for 4 Runegate card, is another one that is very valuable. If you're going to run Eloquent Eulogy, I would look at cutting Phantom Banshee or Bounding Demagon. But maybe Phantom Banshee first. So it is nice to have access to a big beefy 3 for 7. But Eloquent Eulogy just ups the consistency of the deck. So if you're picking up Eloquent Eulogy, I would maybe look to cut the Phantom Banshee as an easy cut. But either way, we do have ability here to create Eloquence on Grimoire. The downside is that this has Blood Debt. So we don't want to do it too early in the game because every turn this will deal us a damage once we break it to make that Eloquence token. But Eloquence can give Read the Runes go again. So then that allows us to kind of play Read the Runes. Let's say, we do Mavrian Skies, 1 Runegate card, play Read the Runes with go again. If we have another banked Runegate card, it allows us to kind of go too wide and come in with like a 3 for 7 or a 3 for 6 after that. So Read the Runes is in here as like if I'm going first, this is something I'm looking at siding in. Just depends on your game plan. Beyond that, I'm running 6 defense reactions. So my defensive package is maybe Read the Runes, reduce the Runechant. So again, Read the Runes is something that if we are only doing like one thing, this is a setup piece. So sometimes if we need to take a turn off, like we're just banishing a card and we're trying to build up a bunch of Runechants, if we're into control, for example, banish a card, make a Runechant. Maybe all that we do that turn is Read the Runes, make 3 more and pass. So Read the Runes can be, depending on the matchup, something you look at siding into control if we're really trying to build up and go tall. So Reduce the Runechant is a great piece. D-React, it costs 1 less to play for each Runechant you control. So ending the turn on Runechants is really important in Vynnset. First and foremost because it gets us closer to a critical mass of Runechants that we need to Runegate a card out. But 2, because it makes Reduce the Runechant free. So as long as we have 1 Runechant on our opponent's turn, which means we end it on 1, this is a 0, so it would cost 0 if we control 1 Runechant. For 4 as a defense reaction, great in Arsenal. That creates us a Runechant. So it's really a 0 for 5 if we count that Runechant as 1 value. So really, really good. We often don't want to be paying for it, especially since we're not running Tunic in this list. Tunic resource can cover this up, which feels a little bit better, but we want to be playing this when it's free, when we have a Rune chant card. Sink Below is another just staple, 0 for 4 defense reaction that allows us to filter our hand, which can be an issue if we draw into a hand of only non-attack action cards and we have no banished target, or if we draw into a hand of only banished targets and no like powerful non-attack action cards to improve or increase the damage output of our hand. Sink Below can really help us kind of filter and unstick. So another key piece here. And I understand Sink Below does come with a bit of a price tag, funnily enough, but it's been reprinted a couple times, so maybe not too bad. So there you go. That's my budget list. I do have a couple equipment pieces like Dance of Darkness, Spell Void. Essentially, it says if your hero would be dealt damage, you may banish this to prevent 2 of that damage. It does have Blood Debt, but this can save us if we're against like a Kano or a Scary Wizard. Grimoire for AB1. Mage Master Boots does a little bit of an impression of creepers. This can be another thing that can give Read the Runes go again. So if I'm playing the Read the Runes, I might look at siding in Mage Master Boots. I can pay 1 as an action to destroy this and give my next non-attack action card go again. So really the only card that it interacts with is Read the Runes, unless I'm playing Funeral Moon and Call. But again, those are pieces that you could look at for upgrade. So Mage Master Boots as sort of a budget version of Creepers. Crown of Dichotomy is also here as AB1, and it has an ability that is maybe relevant, maybe not. So as an action, we can pay 1 to destroy this, put target Runeblade attack action card and target Runeblade non-attack action card from our graveyard on top of our deck. So this can help in grindy control matchups as well. Lastly, Reaping Blade is in the list because we still have heroes who care about getting life, like Verdance, or even like Count Your Blessings New. So Reaping Blade is a key piece into those matchups, which change the sort of fabric of those games and requires your opponent to kind of like play around and think about this. Because as long as they have more life than us, which they often do, we are taking damage to Vynnset's ability, we're taking damage from Blood Debt, so it's easy, and we could like just accept damage from them. It's easy for us to stay at a lower life total, which turns off their life gain abilities. So Reaping Blade is there as well. So that's my first crack budget list. I think the one piece that I would look to add immediately from this is Eloquent Eulogy. Again, as a substitution for Phantom Banshee, I think it's likely a better choice if you're willing to go a little bit over that $100 price tag. But beyond that, like Dyadic Carapace is a great substitution for Aether Ironweave for a little bit more block. Arcanite Skullcap as a substitution for Ebonfold. Ebonfold could then go in the sideboard. So I guess the best thing, you could compare this list to my full cost Vynnset list to start to kind of like come up with a wish list of upgrades if you do enjoy playing Vynnset. However, I truly believe that this version of Vynnset, this budget build, will give you the same sort of vibe. It'll give you a good idea of what Vynnset sort of like feels like, and it'll be a really good starting point in terms of practice, because the lines here are a little bit less complex. There's less to think about when it comes to like eloquence and instant speeds that can generate resources like Call and Funeral Moon, which are great pieces, by the way. But again, things to upgrade and slowly integrate as you become more comfortable with the deck. And then Creepers introduces a whole other layer of complexity to this list. So I think this is a really great starting point, and I hope those of you who are new to Vynnset enjoy playing this list. And yeah, let me know what you think, and let me know how it feels to you. Let me know what you would change right away. While I have you, though, I am going to jump on to Talishar with this list. I'm going to go competitive CC, and we're just going to see how it performs. Just as a first crack here, we'll see who we can pair into, and we'll see how it feels. Hopefully I had all the settings correct here. Looks like I have a couple matchup guides. I'm going to have to revise those because they're likely not relevant anymore. So if the matchups are still in the list, when I post the list, ignore them because they are not going to be relevant for you. Okay, Aurora. This is going to be a good challenge. Aurora is like the new big bad, arguably. So I'm going to stick with all the default pieces, and this one we have to kind of go defensive. So I'm going to side in all of the defensive pieces. Just to be cheeky, I'm going to side in 1 red pummel and 2 blue mauve skies. So I'll try and sneak them out with a pummel. I think that's what we're going to go with, but we definitely need the defensive pieces. I'm not confident that we'll be able to race our opponent here. So turn 0, I'm tempted to banish this Deathly Whale. It's always a great target in banish. And from there, I'm just going to pass. This is often what turn 0 in Vynnset looks like. It's kind of just like set up. I love to see Malefic. I love to see Widespread. This is a great start for us. The Bounding Demagon is the card that we don't really care about. So we might block with it, or we might try and filter it away with Sink Below. But like Yellow Mauve Malefic already threatens us following up the first attack with another one. So we'll have to see how wide they go. They're presenting a 4 here that I have to assume they're going to give go again to. But we might just filter away the Bounding Demagon, to see what we get. So I'm going to say no blocks. They're going to play Channel Lightning Valley. We have a response for that. We're going to cover this up and filter away that. Now we have another 3 block. We don't need both of these Widespread Ruins. And we have 1 block here and we have 1 block here. So this is where we're going to get value from those. If they present another breakpoint here, because we can't let Channel Lightning Valley, we can't let an attack hit when they have Channel Lightning Valley out. So this is for 2. I have to assume they're going to follow this up with something. I'm tempted to... I might just give them Aether Ironweave and Bloodied Oval and hope they don't have... If they have a break point here, we're in a bit of trouble. They're making an Embodiment of Lightning. Are they going to just Arsenal? They are just going to Arsenal, which is a little unfortunate for us. They get to keep the Channel Lightning Valley, and we didn't need this Ruin, so I should have given them Ruin. I just kind of assumed they were going to come with another attack. Which is a false assumption, so that's okay. So we're going to banish the Widespread Ruin. We're at 2 Runechants now. I'm going to play the Malefic Incantation. I'm going to play the Mauvrian Skies, which I'm going to leave it up here for a second so that our opponent knows that it was played. Because if they let this hit, it's coming in for 2 and 6 go again. On hit 2 Runechants, and Malefic's going to make us a 3rd Runechant, essentially, which would allow us to play this Deathly Whale we have in banish from our turn 0. So they have to respect this, otherwise they don't respect it. That's fine. We're going to make 2 Runechants on hit. I know that they want to go wide here because of their Channel Lightning Valley that they have set up, but they're allowing us to come in for an extra 8 and allowing us to end on a Runechant. So now they're at 24. We don't want to Arsenal this card, especially since we're ending on a Runechant. Even just this card in hand is going to allow us to come in for 2 and 6. And we draw into more Malefics, which is a beautiful thing. I have to assume, like, we're probably not going to be able to prevent their Channel Lightning Valley here. We have to assume they're going to be able to draw here with this full of a hand and an arsenal. So I think I'm just going to let them draw now, because I don't really... Oh, am I being greedy? Okay, I am actually going to pitch. I'm going to pitch this Malefic Incantation. We're not going to use Spell Void. However, Spell Void could come in handy in this matchup. I'm going to try and keep them off the draw, but honestly, there's only like one more card that we're happy to give away. So this is going to be 7 go again. There's no way where we let, like, we're not going to cover this up. Oh, they chose to draw a card. So 5 go again, draw. I don't want to give them this Malefic. It's too much value. So I should have maybe just let... I don't think there's going to be any other Arcane coming in, but we'll see. Yeah, so the burn up's going to hit. Let's use the Spell Void. Let's just get our value from it while there's Arcane coming in. Could have AB'd 1 there. That was kind of dumb. Here, let's actually go back. Request undo. That's my bad, because on hit here, the burn up, we might as well are AB1 and Spell Void. There we go. So we didn't need to take that damage. I'm not going to hold on to that resource. It's not very efficient. So they still get their draw. That's fine. We still take some damage. That's fine. We just have to... I mean, we got some really good value on our last turn, so it's hard to complain. So they're going to pitch to Aurora, make another embodiment. They now get to keep their Channel Lightning value for a second turn, which is pretty good for them. But it also means that they pitched a 4, a 0 for 4 go again. So here we could have, excuse me, AB'd this as well, but that's fine. We're going to let this hit. We got to take some damage to the face. 31. Ooh, I hope that's not a Sigil of Suffering. Sigil of Suffering is a very good piece for them. If it is, do we play around it? Like if it's a Sigil of Suffering... if it's a Sigil of Suffering, good for them. I'm just going to play out this Malefic Incantation. We're going to get greedy. We're going to present 2 and 6 with 2 Runechants on the back end. And it's a Sigil. It's not a Sigil? It's not a Sigil. It's an Arc Lightning. Okay, that's good. So they're at 16. We have a bunch of, like, we only want this red Deathly Whale. So I'm happy to start ABing. We have AB1 on Vexing Quillhand, by the way. If you're worried about Vexing Quillhand, like breaking Vexing Quillhand, you could play Grimoire here as sort of a backup piece. So we'll keep ABing. Here, well, the on hit is Channel. But again, I don't think we're going to be able to prevent... They are going to draw. So... I'm kind of worried about Snatch here, because we don't have another... We don't have any more equipment to, like, help with breakpoints. I'm still going to just block 3 here, take 2, they'll get the draw. I'll AB this. We still have a good life lead on them, so I'm still feeling okay. Starfall's fine, we take 2. I'm just really hoping not Snatch. We have no more resources floating, so we're going to start taking the Arcane as well. Let's see what else they can present. There's no way they're keeping this Channel Lightning value for another turn, right? Oh, they just grasped, so we take another 1 from the go again on grasp. They make a Runechant. Ravenous Rabble is fine. It's for 2, thankfully, with a blue off top, which is great for us. We take 2. What else you got? It's fine. We take another 1. So like this is a scary turn from them. This one will give them a 3 on. Doesn't have go again, so I have to assume that they're going to end on that Arsenal, but they are going to lose their Channel. So this brings us, like, we still have a life lead on them, and that's sort of their scary turn. So I'm still feeling pretty good at where we are at. We're going to be threatening 9 on our turn with 1 card in hand, which is quite good. So here we go. 3 and 6, 2 Runechants on the back. So we are, or no, sorry, 4 and 6, 2 Runechants on the back. No, it was 3 and 6, sorry. So they choose to go to 7 here, maybe. They do have AB1, but they're choosing not to pitch to AB. They want to keep their whole hand, which is a little bit scary. But once again, like, because of our Malefic Incantations, it allows us to just kind of, like, we just give them a bunch of cards. I have to kind of assume that they have another Channel Lightning Valley if they're trying to go off again. Once again, The only card I care to keep is either the Deathly Wail or the Widespread Annihilation. So we can give them 6 block or 6 block like this. The Malefic Incantation would be really nice to keep, but I don't mind giving it up here as we get towards the tail end of this matchup. I am sort of, if I'm being honest, feeling the pinch of not having a lot of block on equipment. So like Arcanite Skullcap would be really, really nice here. It's another Arc Lightning. I'm a little worried about Lightning Valley. I'm gonna pitch this Widespread Annihilation. I don't mind just keeping the Deathly Wail. 3 on Fry. We'll just give them the Widespread Ruin. Try and keep them off draw as much as possible. They pump it to... No, this pumps the next thing. But this was to... I don't know why they played it like that. We'll AB this. 3 on Fry. I'm confused as to what just happened. Oh, they played Electromagnetic Somersault to get it back. That's what they did. So we're going to take this 3. Do they have Channel Lightning Valley? We'll find out in a second. Doesn't look like it. So we'll AB one more. We're at 16. Starfall is fine. It's not worth giving up Malefic for that. No more AB, so we'll meet them at 13. They make Embodiment and pass, which is good for us. So we're going to get to come in for 4 and 6. And we'll still end on 2 Runechants. So this is for 10. They're at 13. They're not respecting our Runechants. They go to 9. They give us equipment, go to 6. And we end on 3 Runechants. We draw into defensive pieces. Like, this is going really well. And it's really cool to see a budget build go toe-to-toe with arguably one of the scarier decks in this format right now. For sheer numbers, I want to keep the Phantom Banshee, but the Widespread Annihilation is quite threatening. So I'm still afraid of Channel Lightning Valley a little bit, but we are just going to pass on this. They do have Channel Lightning Valley. It's not worth overextending. I think they're just going to get the draw, and we have to be happy with that. So I'm going to give them a reduce to Runechant just to soften the blow a little bit. We'll go to 12. They'll get their draw, which is not amazing. But again, breakpoints are tough. Okay, so they revealed a Snatch off top. Coming in for Ravenous Rebel for 4. I honestly think we just let this hit because I think there are scarier on hits. Or maybe we just give them 3. Let's give them 3 on this. I'm going to hold on to the Phantom Banshee. I think just numbers at this point is more important than disruption. I might be wrong about that, but... So we'll take 1 down to 11. We still have a 4 block here. Starfall we just auto-take down to 9. That's what we were waiting for. So we played around it quite well. They're going to Lightning Press it, which sucks a little bit. But this doesn't have Go again, so they'll just draw an Arsenal card, which is fine. We go to 6. And we threaten 13? 12? We were on 5 and 7, so 12. And they're at 6. So they have to give us, like... well, they're giving us yellows to pitch for AB, which is a great sign. They take a few Arcane down to 3. They're going to have to give us, like, 2 cards from hand here. They give us their whole hand and still take 1. Great for us. So they're down to 2. They present a Snatch. I'm just going to take a look here. We're on 1 Runechant, so getting rid of the Deathly Wail is all we really need to do. But I want to keep the Skies. I don't want them to draw here. Do I just give them... I'm tempted to keep the Dirge as well, but I think it's not the play. I think we give them the Dirge and the Annihilation. They're saying good game. They can see that it's over. Good game. So, I mean, super cool to see our budget build go toe-to-toe with arguably... I mean, you know, this is filmed like immediately before the Aurora Armory deck drops, so they don't quite have the, the juice yet. But Aurora is still like a very scary, viable meta deck. Like, arguably the It's one of the scariest decks in the meta right now. And the fact that our budget build can go toe-to-toe with it, really cool to see. So anyways, I really hope you enjoy this list. Let me know what your first upgrades are. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you would change anything, if you have any other budget pieces that I missed that you would include. And yeah, let me know how you're enjoying the list, all right? Thanks so much, everybody, for watching. Thanks again for all of your support. I really appreciate it. We're almost at 1,000, which means the 1,000 subscriber giveaway is still online. You have to dig down into the videos a little while to find that, but you can still get in on that giveaway if you go like, comment, subscribe, and comment on that video. But anyways, I'm going to let you guys go for now. Thank you so much for watching. We'll talk real soon. Cheers, everybody.